You're now tuned in, you equals us. No hustle, no fuss, yeah. My name is the street, the one they all like to meet. The indigenous nation, yeah, say it loud. We native and we proud. You equals us, you equals us, you equals us.
Welcome to You Equals Us. What would you do if you had no status card, no ID, and the government didn't know you existed?
Today's teens really have lived a life that few of us could ever comprehend. They fish, hunt, and have learned to live all on their own.
According to the Canadian government, I don't exist.
I can really respect that. I know Zoe doesn't get very far without her cell phone.
Hey, at least people text me.
Also, we finally convinced Zoe to go ziplining up Grouse Mountain.
It was so much fun. And Rebecca Baker. She's best known for her role carrying the 2010 Aboriginal torch in the Olympics, but now she's more focused on her culture. Take a look at this.
I call them my two worlds, and one of my greatest challenges is to balance those two out and still not get involved too much with one and forget the other.
Rebecca Baker will tell you, life really is like a dance.
At 20 years old, she's a fancy dancer from the Squamish and Kwagilth nations.
It's really fast-paced, lots of athleticism, and that's what I like.
While performing at powwows like this one, she's focused, flowing from move to move, always aware of her sense of balance.
All right, listen up, we'll have our invocation now.
Wait till squallow quill squats lava, timia tesqui. Talita wascalkin. You just don't know how happy my heart is right now. I'd be dancing with these ladies standing here.
Oh, there's no words to describe how proud you are as a parent when you see your child out there being acknowledged.
Inspiration is motivation, and motivation creates change.
The culture has trained her, in a sense, to become more aware of what her life is going to be.
My kids, they know who they are.
She believes that it has a lot of weight in her everyday life.
It's not just like a weekend thing.
I'm so proud that I don't have to worry about my kids.
Because it carries a lot of weight to tell somebody you're a role model.
I would say every day I'm faced with being classified into a certain category of the stereotypes.
I'm really grateful every day that they're not addicted to drugs, that they're not out there like a lot of our people are.
It shows that I can overcome what other people think, and I know that like Native people as a whole are strong enough.
It's an honor to see young people like her to embrace that and also show that connection that she does with the culture.
When talking with Rebecca Baker, you don't need her words, just her smile. To see just how important it is to her where she's come from.
It's an expression of yourself and of your ancestors, and through which you can envision the future. And it's just, it takes so much determination and so much motivation, so much perseverance.
We lived it. I loved it so much, and I think that really influenced her in embracing her culture too.
She's been a powwow princess.
Riding is now a way of life.
Once I got on the horse for the first time, the feeling that it brought, the spiritual connection between myself and the horse, and it was just so great and so empowering to me.
But health, happiness, and balance aren't that easy in today's world.
She started playing soccer when she was 7.
Nadine would drive her to her soccer games, and we couldn't ever be late, or else she'd throw little tantrums. No.
She's always been very academic.
And I want to be successful in school. to achieve my degree, to get my master's, perhaps my PhD.
She would have to balance getting her homework done, getting her education, meeting deadlines.
I'll go to school and I learn about all these rules and the laws and the systems, the government, the academic, the urban, the society that's out there. It gets you into this mind frame that there's the side, the traditional ways to live our lives, but then I always have to remember that there's my cultural side, the traditional ways, the traditional values that I carry within myself, and they always seem to clash with each other. And then I come back with my traditions, my culture.
How she's going to change the world is to continue with both worlds as a tool to live day to day in life, and also her culture to hold her up to continue on this road.
I've always had the support that I've needed from my family and my friends, and that has got me really far in my life.
But it's even tougher when those helping you learn who you are also learning right alongside you.
When I was young, I never grew up with my culture.
It's like you don't know what to say, you don't know how to act, you don't know what the protocol is.
Because my mom was adopted into a non-native family.
I was raised by a white family who I loved dearly, so I was taken away from my culture and my language. I remember being 5 years old, knowing I was different, wondering, why am I brown? And actually feeling ashamed. Identity crises, that's exactly what I relate to. I had a really hard time in my teens. It wasn't until Rebecca was born. I went to my first ceremony down at the smokehouse. I went back and found who my mom and dad are. I phoned her and we met. Rebecca she would have been about a year old. My dad placed names on us, and that was the first thing he said, was that this is the spirit of our ancestors who brought her home. So you look at how I was with no culture, my daughter's having a little bit, and now my grandchildren having even more. I think it's awesome that I always think that it's the spirit of our ancestors. We refuse to lay down and die.
I believe that when I do work with the horses and work with my dancing, that others will see what I have and create something within themselves to empower themselves and create that balance, that health, that happiness. I hope that it'll inspire somebody else to do what I've had the opportunity to do.
We got Rebecca Baker smiling. Hey, come on.
If life really is a dance,
Here we go.
then at the end of the day, it's not every move you made or missed,
Oh, boy. All right.
Or what you had to overcome just to make the stage.
but what your performance means to the people watching.
It's a drive. It just makes you find out who you are and where you're from.
To remind the younger generation, her peers, reminding the older ones also there is a chance that we will be able to survive.
And for the performer herself.
Once you get so involved with your cultural ways, I find it hard to go back. I believe that true happiness comes from being healthy, living the life of the balance wheel, the spiritual, emotional, academics, and all that, those aspects of your life. It starts with you, and then by you changing, it will create others around you. It'll create change that is greater than yourself.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You equals us. You equals us.
You're watching APTN. Take a break for a little romance.
We were just
looking for snakes on a plane.
Arctic Air, tonight on APTN. Country living puts a little spring in your step. The charm is simply romantic. The stillness is music to your ears. And the work is, well...
It's a disaster.
Heartland, tonight on APTN.
The world we create energy in is the same world we create energy for. Which begs the question, can the energy that keeps us moving, the energy that brings us together, the energy that drives our economy, quality of life, and well-being be sustainable for generations to come? We're Canada's largest energy company, and our answer is yes. Come and see what yes can do.
What if you could get the performance you'd expect from a full-size music system without the complexity of a full-size music system? Presenting the Wave Music System 3 from Bose. It's engineered with exclusive waveguide speaker technology, allowing this small system to outperform many larger, more expensive stereos. And it includes convenient features like easy-to-use touch-top controls, an improved digital tuner for even better AM/FM reception. Plus, you can set 2 different wake-up times and gently wake up to your favorite music. Add accessories, and this versatile system lets you listen to your iPod or iPhone and charge it at the same time. Or enjoy your CDs uninterrupted with the multi-CD changer. You'll even save $150 when you order the system with the changer by January 2nd. Courier shipping is free, and you can enjoy the sound for 30 days risk-free in your own home. The Wave Music System 3. Simplicity, elegance, and performance. Only from Bose.
Do you know where to find Canada's favorite breakfast sandwich? You know, the one that's made fresh, hot, melty, and oh so delicious. Well, you can always find it right next to Canada's favorite coffee. The Tim Hortons Hot Breakfast Sandwich. Made fresh to order and served nice and hot. For a limited time only, try the new jalapeno biscuit breakfast sandwich. Just $2.89.
It's time for Tim's. You equals us. You equals us.
Welcome back. Zoe and I decided to challenge our fears and go ziplining up Grouse Mountain. Take a look at this.
I've heard so many amazing stories about ziplining, closest thing to flying, I guess. I'm really excited to do it here at Grouse Mountain in BC.
I really want to give this a try. It's something that I've been meaning to do, you know, something like bungee jumping a little bit. It's kind of like baby steps, you know, before you go to the bungee jumping.
You know what? After climbing 4,100 feet and having a look around, we have a totally new perspective.
Grouse Mountain is a wilderness paradise with tons to do.
It's just 15 minutes from downtown Vancouver.
The Eye of the Wind is the first wind turbine in the world to have a lookout tower, and the view is jaw-dropping.
I typically portray myself as a little bit of a girly girl, but I actually enjoyed a little bit of a hike to do the zip lining. I think it was a shocker for everyone. I was definitely really scared, but as we worked our way up, all I wanted to do was keep going.
This zip line, also known as a flying fox, a zip wire, or an aerial runway, is made of 1 part pulley and a stainless steel cable, and 2 parts pure adrenaline.
At up to 80 kilometers an hour.
I was just diving into the wilderness, darting from tree to tree.
Did you see my bullet position? It was a core workout, just like planking on your back.
But at 200 feet above the forest floor, it wasn't all canyon views and heart-thumping excitement.
There's deer and grizzly bears.
Yep, locals Grinder and Kula were wide awake and looked hungry.
I saw them from the chairlift, and I wanted to do nothing but hop into that cage and snuggle them. Robert was a little bit more on the anxious side.
We're talking about grizzly bears here.
They look so soft and fluffy.
I don't know if it's the pure air
or just friendly co-host camaraderie.
But dual zip lines, which allow side-by-side flight, had my competitive side ready to burn cable.
Nothing wrong with a little bit of competition, right?
Yeah, well, he has a little bit of a size advantage over me. Just a little.
You can't let the girl win every single time.
So no matter what you call it, bottom line, this sport is fast. Really fast. In the end, there are no losers when it comes to ziplining.
Only crazy excitement and not able to wait to do it again.
Everyone should try out the Grouse Mountain ziplining. It is amazing, and I think everyone would have a blast.
Stay tuned and meet the teens with no government records. They've just stepped back in time.
You equals us. You equals us.
Want to keep them toes? I dropped that rifle.
Catch the Young Riders today on APTN. Country living puts a little spring in your step. The charm is simply romantic. The stillness is music to your ears. And the work is, well...
It's a disaster.
Heartland, tonight on APTN.
Listen up for an amazing offer that can change the way you hear.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Can you repeat that?
Frustrated with your hearing?
What did he say?
Well, hear better now. Introducing the fully rechargeable MSA 30X, a revolutionary device that features the latest microsound amplification technology that can barely be seen. Independently tested to help you hear up to 30 times better. It turns ordinary hearing into extraordinary hearing. MSA 30X works by capturing and amplifying sound waves, yet its lightweight ergoacoustic design is discreet. It form-fits in and around either ear.
I forget I'm even wearing it.
And MSA 30X is powerful. Hear clearly in restaurants. Never miss another word on TV or at the movies.
My wife complains that I have the volume up on the TV too loud.
And I didn't want to be in the same room with them.
Now I can hear everything clearly.
Simply adjust the volume as you desire. Other units use so many batteries, and they're difficult to change. But the MSA 30X is completely rechargeable. Simply plug it into the wall.
I tried other devices that had batteries, but they were always such a pain to change and so costly. But this is rechargeable, so I figure I save hundreds a year.
Bulky sound amplifiers can cost hundreds, but try MSA 30X for just $59.95, and we'll include a cleaning brush and 5 comfort tips. But wait, in this special TV offer, we'll cut the price in half. Now you can hear up to 30 times better for just $29.95. But there's even more. We'll double the offer free. Just pay additional processing and handling. Wear them both or give one to a loved one. Did you hear that? That's 2 MSA 30Xs for just $29.95. The MSA 30X Hear Better Now offer. Get 2 for just $29.95.
All I can say is just try it. It could change your life.
To order your MSA 30X, please call 1-800-409-6149 or order online at buymsa30x.ca.
Small airline, big challenges.
What the hell?
What's that?
That was our plan.
Arctic Air, tonight on APTN.
You equals us. You equals us.
Welcome back. How would you live if the government didn't know you existed? These teens harvest their own food, make money, and live without the government knowing they exist. Life in the city is fast, dynamic, exciting.
But for some, all the hustle and bustle is a compromise of values that is just simply unacceptable.
We grow our own food. We've been doing it our whole lives, basically. Our grandpa got into it. He said, I don't want my children just to be interested in modern things. He wants them to be involved in cultural things, like, you know, to know who themselves are.
What we've done with our grandchildren is that we didn't want them to be registered Canadians or registered Indians. We want them to be Lilwets.
I'm not registered. I don't have a birth certificate, a SIN number, a license. I have nothing. According to the Canadian government, I don't exist.
These might look like regular Aboriginal Canadians, but they aren't.
There is no record of their age, sex, or whereabouts.
They have never been registered by any governmental agency.
My mom just decided when I was born not to register me. It's just been like this my whole life, so I don't see the point in doing it now.
Living off the grid, they choose not to submit to any governmental controls.
They use different locations in the rivers, mountains, and lakes of Lillooet, and the surrounding regions, planning trips with the best times to hunt and fish, harvest food, and gather medicines.
When we pulled our children out of the education system, we said we're going to learn how to survive here on the things that we did. Fishing was the main part of it. Ever since they were in cradles, we brought them down to fish camp, and they learned to fish from all their lives.
It's a camp. It's like a family camp. Like my grandpa would be the head there, and then there would be like his sisters, or my grandma's sisters and brothers would come down for fish, or their kids would come down for fish, which would be our cousins.
Taylor can throw the net, I can throw the net. We can cut fish, we can do everything to the fish. And we can fish, we can vegetables, we can deer, we can moose if we get it, but there's not many moose around here.
Salmon were seen by First Nations peoples as equals, a gift-bearing relative, and were treated with great respect.
These teens gather every year to catch sockeye salmon from the turbulent waters.
We do fishing every year. Like so far what we've done this summer, which is starting off usually during the springtime, but we had a bit of flooding this year, so we've got our garden in really late. But we're still hoping to harvest some vegetables from it. And after that is usually around August sometime is when we do the fishing in Lillooet.
Taylor's life is different from most teens. In an age of advancing technology and consumerism in youth, Taylor spends her time with her family, learning her culture, and living off the land, as her ancestors have done for centuries.
Fishing on the rocks in this region is considered so dangerous, people have died, while fishing close to the swift current and dangerous terrain.
I can set the net, but I need somebody else to help me. It's not a one-person job, really. It's more dangerous if you do a one-person job because you don't want to fall in that river. It is a really strong river. My main role would be fish cutter, like cutting fish. It doesn't happen overnight. Like, I didn't become a proficient fish cutter until maybe around 9 or 10, maybe. It's not that it takes long, it's just that you have to build that confidence, you got to do to make sure the food will last. And even if it doesn't, you gave it your best shot.
The fish are filleted and hung on racks to dry in the warm winds. Aboriginal peoples throughout BC and Washington state travel to Lillooet to barter for this delicacy.
We're at the lake where we do our smoking, our barbecuing fish. We'll only do barbecuing one day and we'll eat it ourselves. And if there's anything left over, we'll save it for later, for a treat.
These teens live off the land, eat a traditional diet, and harvest their food. Their education comes from the land.
We grow our own food, but beyond that, we go and pick soapberry. It's called hosham in our language. And beyond that, there's huckleberries we can pick, black caps, and you don't really run into many blueberries. Like I said, the bears get them.
A lot of the fish we got from the fish camp, we sell that, the wind dried at POWs and stuff, can be able to, put away food for the winter, and it's expensive.
In the winter, they survive off the food gathered in the summer and fall. There's not much else to rely on. With all its hardships and insecurities, they still choose to live off the land and follow the path of their grandfathers.
It became more natural as like for my children and then the grandchildren and then the great-grandchildren. It became a lot easier because then they knew all the procedures that you do in surviving in a fish camp because you're there for a month and you're fishing every day from 6 in the morning till maybe 10, 11 at night. We pulled our children out of the education system, my 9 children. We said, I don't want them to think like a Canadian. I want them to think like a Lillooet.
When you take care of yourself, you're taking care of the future generations.
The children who are taken care of are living off the land and maintaining a lifestyle that goes back before colonization.
Despite its hardships, they've found great peace and happiness, living as they have for centuries.
We can't change the past, but we can change the future. But when I have children, I don't think I want to register them, and I want to teach them traditional things. They'll know that we know how to live off the land if, you know, everything else goes on.
I have 2 kids. My kids aren't registered either. My oldest has been to the fish camp every year, and he goes down there and he's out there, you know, he likes camping, and he's out there when we're canning and in the garden and everything.
And for these youth, living so differently than other teens today, what they have is an old remembering, a link to the earth, and a quiet, strong pride.
From the Lillooet Declaration of 1911, leaders at that time stated they weren't giving up 1 inch of our territory to anybody. And that still remains true today.
It's sort of like internalized oppression is what they call it, because you'll notice some people of our own people put ourselves down. We want to get away from that and realize we're people of our own and be proud of ourselves. You know, we should be our own people and country and everything.
Living like that makes me appreciate my microwave oven.
And this little beauty. You're going to be hearing this name around, Alexander Reyes. Check out his song focus on our next show. His music is Changing Souls.
I'm Robert.
And I'm Zoe.
Thanks for joining us. You too can be the change.
Mom? Mom! I told you not to call me. We're shooting. No. Okay, yeah. I love you. No, bye. Sorry. Be the change.
Teens inspiring teens.
I want to see positive change in the future for future generations and for current generations.
Going on adventures. And getting to the heart of the matter.
I have a passion. That passion is for the earth.
You equals us. Tuesday on APTN.